Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
We're following breaking news out of Detroit, where a man has now been charged in a random shooting spree that left 3 people dead and 1 other man hurt. The prosecutor's office telling us that a warrant has been signed for charges for 19-year-old Dante Smith. That includes 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault with intent to murder. The people were all shot in a period of about 2 hours. This was early Sunday morning. Smith is expected to go before a judge at 2:30 this afternoon. We're going to have complete coverage for you starting on First at 4. Also breaking at this hour, the FDA has given the okay for the first update to the COVID booster shots, and the doses could be given out within just a few days. The version of the shot is a tweak on the versions already given out by Pfizer and Moderna. The shots contain half the original vaccine recipe and half protection against the newest Omicron variants. Pfizer's shots would be for anyone 12 and up, while Moderna's updated booster is for adults only. The CDC still needs to sign off on this, and there is a panel that is scheduled to meet tomorrow. Happening right now, we're waiting on a pivotal decision in the battle over abortion rights here in Michigan. The state election board is meeting on a proposal that could be put to a vote come November. And the constitutional amendment would put the right to an abortion in Michigan's constitution. Right now, the Bureau of Elections is meeting again to decide if that ballot initiative petition had enough valid signatures to get it on the ballot. Local 4's Rod Maloney has been following the meeting for us all morning long. He joins us now live this afternoon. Rod, where do things stand right now? Break it all down for us.
Well, as it stands right now, Evrod, it's the State Board of Canvassers meeting, and there are actually 2 constitutional provisions. There's an abortion one. It's called the Reproductive Freedom for All Act, and also the Promote the Vote. And these 2 constitutional changes are proposed, or ballot proposals, where they went out and gathered signatures. And so as it stands right now, the question is whether the Board of Canvassers will take these proposals and put them on the ballot for November 8th. That's what they're deciding. This morning, they've been hearing testimony from residents in the state of Michigan wanting to have their thoughts on these 2 proposals and whether they should be advanced to the ballot, go before voters on November 8th. So let's hear from a number of those people on both of these issues.
And we got 200,000 more signatures than we needed. So this basically says the people of Michigan want this, and we're here to decide whether it should goes on the ballot. And obviously the people of Michigan think it should.
Let alone it should be rejected on the deceptive nature of the 100-word summary. I know it's not relevant here to talk about the ominous nature of the petition and that it would make fair elections in Michigan almost impossible.
To serve my patients and offer all treatment options available to them, we must restore the reproductive protections lost when Roe was overturned. We can't go back to the 1931 law that bans abortion.
If we don't know what laws it's removing from our Constitution and what changes it's making, it should not be put on the ballot until those are clearly stated. And I would ask this board to deny both proposals under those circumstances.
And so now what happens is that there are 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats on the Board of Canvassers. They will take a vote at the end of the day on both of these proposals as to whether to send them to the voters. And if there is a tie, that means it goes to the voters. If it's 3-1, then it'll go in whatever direction gets voted on. We shall see, but I can tell you, based on what we're hearing from the attorneys involved in all of this, that it is likely that no matter how this gets decided, that there's going to be a court fight as to whether or not either of these 2 proposals end up on the ballot in November. We're watching. We'll have updates at 4, 5, and 6. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod, thank you. In other news this afternoon, right now, tens of thousands of Metro Detroiters are still in the dark from Monday's storms, but help is now here from other states. About 1,000 linemen from Illinois, Missouri, Ohio, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania arrived last night to help DTE crews, and they're in neighborhoods as we speak. You're looking at a new video here of them leaving a yard in Ypsilanti. This is earlier this morning. DTE says the crews are focusing on the most dangerous situations first, like down power lines. And they still want everyone to remember to stay 20 feet or more away from any down power lines, especially after multiple children were shocked. DTE says that it has more than 3,200 crews that are out in the field right now. Power is still out, though, for about 195,000 of its customers. That is about 9% of the customer base. The utility was able to bring the lights back on for about 60,000 people so far. And our Megan Woods is going out to neighborhoods across Metro Detroit talking about how people were impacted. Megan?
I'm Megan Woods, and thousands are still without power today. Right now, we're in Detroit at the intersection of Clay and Chrysler. It's being treated as a four-way stop as traffic lights are down. Now, a couple of blocks from here, Triumph Church is without power, and they're still moving forward with services. We'll have that story, as well as how these power outages are impacting people in Wayne County and Oakland counties tonight at 4, 5, and 6.
All right, Megan, we will see you then. In the meantime, we want to turn our attention now to your 411 forecast. And things are still looking clear out there right now, Brandon. What's in store for us today?
Well, it's very comfortable air, low humidity, and that's great news. I know with about 200,000 people without power, at least we can keep the windows open and somewhat refreshed out there. Even if you have power, windows open. Why not? Middle upper 70s out your door. Winds are or were out of the west-southwest, becoming more west-northwest, but kicking up there a little bit, anywhere between 9 and about 17 miles an hour, gusting over 20 at times. Looking real good, though, sky condition-wise. We're going to end the month of August today and not expecting any rain. So on the month, about 2 1/3 inches, which is about 0.8 inches below average. So each month of the summer so far, we've been about an inch shy and nowhere near the huge amount of rain we had last year. So you may have to keep watering the lawn a little bit. We've got temperatures into the low 80s, a few clouds, and a good stiff breeze out there today. Evrod?
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Contract talks continue between Eastern Michigan University and its professors union as the current deal expires at midnight. The 500-person union rejected the latest offer from the university, which would have given full-time faculty members a 4 to 8% base salary increase in the first year of the new contract. Now, it would have also provided a 2% salary increase every year for the next 5 years. The union is instead calling for a larger inflation-based salary increase as well as a better health plan. A man is shot sitting in his own driveway on Detroit's west side overnight. This happened on Santa Rosa, right near 8 Mile and Woodward. The 63-year-old man was sitting in his car when an unknown person came up and fired shots. That victim was last listed in serious condition. Also on Detroit's west side, a 62-year-old woman was also shot in her own driveway. This happened on Griggs, right near McNichols and Wyoming. She had to be taken to the hospital as well in temporary serious condition. We are working to get more information about these shootings. And now to the major developments today in the search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. In an overnight filing, the Justice Department says it has evidence classified documents at Trump's Florida home were likely concealed and even removed before the FBI tried to retrieve them. Bree Jackson is in Washington with more.
In its late-night filing, the Justice Department said over 100 unique classified documents were seized. Some were so sensitive and classified that FBI agents and Justice Department attorneys needed additional security clearances to review them. An inside look at the evidence seized from former President Trump's Florida home. In this photo, included in the Justice Department's filing, you can see several documents clearly marked top secret.
He just wasn't supposed to have these documents under the law, regardless of their classification level.
DOJ's late-night filing also cites efforts to obstruct its investigation, saying government records were likely concealed and removed, and casting doubt on the Trump team's cooperation, stating the FBI recovered twice as many documents with classification markings as the, quote, diligent search that the former president's counsel had weeks to perform. This overnight filing comes ahead of a court hearing Thursday. A federal judge is weighing Trump's request to appoint an independent third party, known as a special master, to review the documents recovered from Mar-a-Lago.
They put on a number of conditions because they understand the judge, despite their protestations, may still appoint a special master.
Justice officials argue appointing a special master would impede the government's criminal investigation. The judge in the case has signaled she's likely to rule in Trump's favor.
All of these things are calculated time delays that the Trump team wants to take as they try to figure out their strategy.
In a passionate speech on reducing gun violence, President Biden condemned Trump supporters' threats.
And now it's sickening to see the new attacks on the FBI, threatening the life of law enforcement agents and their families for simply carrying out the law and doing their job.
A job the Justice Department says is already complete, countering a need for a second pass on sifting through documents. If a special master is appointed, the Justice Department has requested that that person be given a deadline to review the seized documents. And while the federal judge has signaled that she is likely to appoint a special master, we could soon find out if this filing changes her mind. A hearing in the case is scheduled for Thursday. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
All right, Bree, thank you. It's a store that you see in communities all around Metro Detroit.